Have you noticed that Destined Rivals has gone completely crazy lately? Whether you're an investor, a collector, or just someone looking for the perfect pull, this set has become impossible to ignore since its release, with cards like Team Rocket's Mewtwo, Cynthia's Garchomp, and Ethan's Ho-Oh leading the charge. It's continuing to skyrocket, but how far can it go? We're looking at how much value it has gained, will it continue to increase, and will that bubble eventually burst? So whether you're wondering whether you're going to hold, sell, or double down on your pulls, this is the video that's going to help you to decide. So we're going to start off with the Destined Rivals booster box. If you look at the prices here, it's saying $521. But if we go down to the chart, you can see how it started off. Well, this is the 6-month graph anyway. How it started off at about $287 and has slowly risen up to, well, actually very quickly up to $492. But then it came back down just about the start of September to $388. So right now it is going down after this crazy boom that it seems to have had. And the amount of the amount of booster boxes or ETB booster boxes that are being sold is steadily staying about the same. So it seems to be about leveled out. So I don't really see why that price has shot up over time, unless people are thinking that a lot of booster boxes are being opened and they were worried that the price was going to constantly go up. But then it's had that drop down in the last month. We can see here it is. When we get a few more days in, we'll probably see a decent percentage drop. But overall, over the month to date, it's 2% up. Over the year, it's not been a full year yet, but up about 10% from its release. It did have a ridiculous amount sold, 1,279 at the end of May and the start of June. Let's move on to the booster bundle, currently selling for $68.99. Market price around $53, but here we're saying, yep, $53. It's gone in the last 6 months, actually down, but if we look in the last month, it's gone up around 6% from $47 up to $53 in the last 3 months. Even more, around a 10% rise. Not as dramatic as the booster box, but we are still seeing an increase around the same time from early September to late September, and then a slow drop from there. If we move on to the regular Destined Rivals ETB, again, it's currently selling for around 117. We got a ridiculous amount bought at the end of May, beginning of June, and then leveled out up until September again. And in September that month, it went a bit crazy and had a dramatic rise. In the last 3 months, we can see that it went up 36% overall. If we look at some of the last few sales, 110, 110, 110, 118, 119. So the last 3 sales have actually gone down about $8 to $9. So if we move on to the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box, we can see the prices in the last 3 months have gone up over 100%, which, to be honest, is an absolute ridiculous increase in price, all the way from 183 up to 378. You can kind of see here, has it hit a peak between October 11th and October 13th, where it was 383 and it's gone down to 378. Like the other Destined Rivals products that we've looked at so far, is it about to have a decrease? Again, we can see that the amount sold has dramatically decreased. 3 items sold, 4, 2, 6, 3, as opposed to 52 at the end or mid-August. And the last few sales, we're looking at 349, 334, 375, and 350. If we move on to the half booster box, we have a similar thing in the last 3 months. It has gone up 8%, similar to the full booster box. Not as many of these sold because it is not as popular a product. And again, we can look at the price data from the last 6 months, just about when Destined Rivals came out. Around 20% up to 210 currently. Next product we have is the Destined Rivals 3 triple blister pack, so 3 packs inside of it. A steady rise over the last 3 months from 23 up to 32. Possibly still a good time to buy this because we're going to see pre-release when things were getting sold. As most sets do, a lot were bought after its release. The price dramatically dropped. I don't see why people ever buy things during pre-release because the price always comes down pretty much straight away regardless of the set. You can see a steady rise over time, and I will think that will continue to follow that trend. After that, we have the Destined Rivals booster packs. Over time, they've were around $8. You can kind of see an average over the first couple of months until September. Yep. So looking at the 6 month graph as well, around $7, $6, $8 most of the time. Steady rise up to $9 and a little bit back down since then. I think they will, after this dip, start going up even more. Next, we have the Team Rocket Mewtwo, the best card from the set. It is the chase card. It's the card that everybody is after. You've got to appreciate the artwork, though it is pricey compared to some older, more sought after Mewtwo cards also, which I am quite surprised about. To be honest, the price on this is absolutely insane. At the start of May, end of May and beginning of June, it was around 330. It continued at this price for a while after a small rise, and then again, like most of Destined Rivals so far, at the start of September, it saw a ridiculous jump, and it's gone up around 69%, getting up to 565. If we look at the last 5 or 6 sold, some of them are even in the $650 range. But there is one on the same day at $500, but that one is light played. So if we're looking at the near mint, 650, 650, 650, but down to 560 also. So we're looking at between 550 and 600 there. Next, we are moving on to the Cynthia's Garchomp EX. Another SIR from the set. Great artwork and another sought after card. This one, slightly different. In the last 6 months, it started off at 192, saw a dramatic rise, but then for some reason, after around 25 were bought, 35 to 25, we had 12 items sold, but for half the price of what it was going for. And then a couple of days later, it went up another $100 again. I'm not sure what the trend is on that. It is an odd one. But if we look at the average, if we put a line of best fit, you can still see the steady rise over time, and it's probably going to settle at the price it is selling at now. Let's see if we look on the data. Does it show us? No, so it's around 330, 300, 250, 276, and 289. So if we move on to the next card, we've got the Ethan's Ho-Oh. We're looking at prices following those similar trends from 148 now going up to 239, going up about 61% in the last 3 months. It didn't have as dramatic a drop as the Cynthia's Garchomp, but at the same time, after the September rise, it did have a drop at the exact same date, although not as dramatic, and still did go back up. And I think it's going to settle or continue to rise at around that price. Going to move on to the Team Rocket's Mewtwo gold cards. I wanted to have a look at the gold cards because of the recent gold card hype because of Mega Evolutions recently. Have the gold cards changed? And it seems like, again, I'm not sure whether this would be because of Destined Rivals popularity going up, or whether it was the gold cards that have came out recently in Mega Evolution and Phantasmal Flames. But they have gone up, and it is not that popular for Scarlet and Violet gold cards to be at such price. So this one is probably a little bit of an outlier. And in the last 6 months, it has gone up 36%. I'm going to look at some of the illustration rares then. This is one of my favourite cards from this set. Team Rocket's Moltres EX. It has, in the last 3 months, gone up around 18%. Started at 130, went up to 180, down to 130 again. And in the last month or so, since August, start of September, it has steadily rose. And I think that is probably a better gauge of where this price is going to go. Could this have been a bit of market manipulation? 17 items sold for this price when it was shooting down. Or maybe people saw that it had hit its peak and was on the way down and they wanted to capitalize on that. If we look at the 6 months, that is a very dramatic rise and fall going on to a steady rise, but it is going down slightly again. On to the next card, we've got Misty's Psyduck. Beautiful artwork. I love the colours on this one. Haven't managed to pull this one myself yet. Again, following those trends, we're staying around $55. Went down slightly. Start of September, shot up to 73 and slightly back down to 67. Is it going to continue going down like some of the other cards and then go back up? Or is it going to go up from here? Currently at 21% rise so far, and in the last few sales, kind of up and down. Actually, that is the Japanese version. So steadily around 68, 67, 75, and 68. Moving on to the next card, we've got Ethan's Adventure. So how are the trainer cards doing? Roughly selling now for 62 market price, recent sale 52. They've continued the trend slightly later though than some of the other cards and some of the sealed product. So at the start of September, decided to stay steady until we got to the end, steady around $50-ish, up to 62, so a 29% rise then. On the next card, Misty's Lapras. Did it follow the same trends as the last Misty card? In the last 3 months, holding steady. This is pre-release, so I tend not to look at that. And then steady rise over the last month or so again, over September, with the steady drop. So by the looks of it, for me, it doesn't seem worth it buying Destined Rivals singles right now. I think they're going to come down slightly and then they're going to go up again. So I think you will have a chance to buy them in the near future, if this is what you're looking for. And if you're on this video, I will assume this is what you're interested in right now. So Ethan's Typhlosion is slightly different and shows a different trend to the rest. This one, over the last 6 months, has only really seen a drop. It did have that rise after a dramatic drop at the start of September, went up to $40 and is now going back down. Will it go lower than the 34? Personally, for me, this is a great card and should probably be a higher price. If we look at the recent sales, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, barring a few pennies either side. And lastly, we're going to look at Team Rocket's Meowth. It's currently selling for around 30, showing those trends. This one, compared to the other cards, it was selling about 24, 30, 38, 18, 20 different cards, items sold, to then selling 100 all in one go at the peak of, or pretty much at the peak of this rise. This one, potentially market manipulation with IRs. IRs have had this before, and now I think it is starting to settle down again after that rise. Will it go all the way back down to below 30? I don't know. It looks like it probably will, but I think this card is worth more. The last few sales, 28, 28, 28, 29, 30. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content on Pokemon and anything that you're interested in the Pokemon space. It will really help this video if you like it. Share it with your friends. Do whatever you need to do with it. Even dislike it if you didn't like it. It still helps me out. Thanks very much. And I'll see you in the next one.